The story we're going to use today is called 50 Things You Really Need to Know About Ocean Monsters. And the book is written by Jeremy Harwood. It doesn't give us an illustrator, so that means he is the author and the illustrator. We're going to skip the title page and look at the table of contents. The table of contents uh, is separated and it tells you about all the different ocean creatures in this book, and it has them separated. So you would use this if you wanted to do a report maybe on an octopus, if you were writing a report and you had to learn everything you could about an octopus. You would get many different books, maybe go on the computer, and you would just look for the things on an octopus. So if you were looking for an information, you could go to this page, find octopus, you could go across, and an octopus, the information starts on page 12. Now, this book has a lot of information, and if I read the whole thing, it would take too long. So I have certain parts that we're going to read out of the book, and then we'll talk about it when we're finished. A world of ocean monsters. Oceans cover about 3/4 of the earth and are home to all kinds of weird and wonderful animals. The deeper you go, the stranger they get. At the top is the Sunlit Zone, which contains nearly all the ocean's creatures. Because this zone gets plenty of sunlight, plants such as seaweed and tiny animals grow. Small fish eat these, and larger fish, such as sharks, eat them. Lower down in the twilight zone, there is not enough light for plants to grow. Many creatures here, including some jellyfish, make light to talk to each other. In the deepest part of the ocean, the midnight zone, it is always dark. The creatures that live here eat each other or scraps that have drifted down from higher up. Some, like the viper fish, have sharp teeth and large mouths to help them catch their food. Others have large eyes to help them see in the inky black water. For all, life is a constant battle to eat and not be eaten. In this book, you will find lots of scary looking creatures that teach us about life under the sea and how to keep this world's oceans working for all living things in the future. Okay, we're going to go, that was the introduction. We're going to go to the great white shark, the largest predatory fish on the planet. And predatory means that this fish goes after its food. It goes after its prey. That's what the food is called, and they go after them to eat. They go after their prey and they eat it. Great white sharks eat seals, sea lions, and small whales. They will sometimes even leap out of the sea to catch them. Great white sharks are super swimmers. They can power through the water at over 35 miles per hour. Their dorsal fin helps them swim in a straight line and make sudden turns. That's this fin that's sticking up right here. A great white shark's teeth are razor sharp. They have around 50 full-size teeth with 250 new ones growing in rows behind them. Great white sharks can go 2 months without eating. They do not chew their food. They rip their prey into bite-sized chunks and they swallow it whole. And so it keeps them for a long time. Tiger sharks are named for their dark vertical stripes. They eat anything from the albatross, sea snakes, and other sharks to human trash such as discarded paint cans and even rubber tires. Sorry. This shark will eat almost anything. The dragonfish is more like an eel than a fish, long and thin with tiny scales. It has a light producing lure under its chin, which makes fish swim straight into its toothy mouth. There you can see it, and here is this light, and the light attracts the smaller fish, and they swim right up, and he opens up his mouth. Octopus swim backwards when they are under attack by blasting water through a muscular tube on their bodies called a siphon. And a siphon, and I looked in the back, this is called the Glossary. We'll talk about that in a minute. And a siphon says it's an aquatic creature's tube-like organ through which water flows to help it move, feed, breathe, and reproduce. So we're learning something new all the time. If an octopus is threatened, it can darken the water around them with ink. They can also change color to blend in with their surroundings. The small coconut octopus hides inside shells. Octopuses hunt at night by crawling along the ocean floor, searching for food with their arms. Their prey includes small fish, crabs, clams, and sea snails. Octopus often walk along the ocean floor because it's easier than swimming. When an octopus swims, one of its three hearts, the one that's pumping blood through its organs, stops working. Octopus have 8 arms. Let me read that again. Octopuses have 8 arms, each with 2 rows of circular or round suckers along its length. An octopus can detach an arm to distract predators and then grow a new one in its place. So if something is coming after the octopus, one of the things it can do is his arm can fall off. He can get away. The prey will go after that arm and he'll get a new one. We're not like that. We don't have that. The fried egg jellyfish looks just like breakfast. Look right here. Doesn't that look like a sunny side up laying on your plate, this part? Underneath each of it, I'm sorry, I got a little distracted when I turned the page. Underneath each one of the purple blobs is a mouth. So if this jellyfish would be setting up, this would be on the top, this would be on the bottom, this is the bottom. You see the purple? Each one of those little purple dots is a mouth. Imagine that. Moon jellies change color depending on what they eat. The Portuguese man-of-war looks like a jellyfish, but is actually a group of separate organisms. Working together, the top part sits on the water like a balloon, trailing long, thin, stringy tentacles below. Flying fish. Flying fish fly to escape underwater predators. Their streamlined, torpedo-like shape helps them swim fast enough to break the surface, and then their large wing-like fins get them airborne. The sailfish jumps rather than flies. It has a large sail on its back instead of wings. At 70 miles per hour, the sailfish swims faster than any other fish. When a female sailfish wants to attract a mate, she raises her sail above the surface of the water. And here is the sailfish, and that is the sail. The flying Gurnard glides rather than flies. It has the same kind of wing-like fins as true flying fish, but uses them to flap along the ocean floor. So they don't really flap. They're included in this group. They don't really fly, sorry, but they go down to the bottom of the ocean and they flap their wings to help them glide over the ocean floor. We're going to stop with seeing the different animals that we've looked today. I want to show you the glossary, and that's an important part. A glossary is kind of like a dictionary, but it only is dealing with the words that we would find inside the book. And there we found words like fin, we used that one, lure, we used the word prey, we used the word tentacles. There's more that we've used. I know there's more, but we've used many of the words from this book. Siphon, we used the word siphon. So a glossary would help you if you were doing a report. You could, if you came across words you didn't know, instead of going through a big dictionary, you could look for the glossary in a book to find out about the words you didn't know. Now, do you think this book is a fiction book or a nonfiction book? Remember, fiction stories or books are fake. They're not real. Nonfiction are stories that are real or books that are real dealing with real things. What do you think? If you said a nonfiction story, you are right. This is a nonfiction book. It's telling you about real ocean monsters or creatures that live in our oceans. Now, let's think about the author's purpose for a minute. Why do you think that the author wrote this book? Do you think he wrote it to make us laugh and entertain us? Or do you think he wrote it so we could learn about something? If you said we could learn about something, yes. It might be, some of you may be very interested, some not as much. But we could learn something from reading this book. What could we learn? We could learn about the ocean monsters. All right, guys, I miss you. Have a great day.